So I thought I would start off my lecture with a little clip I'm going to show from a band I really like from China named Hangai. They are Mongolian and they also play to a Chinese audience and fuse uh, heavy metal elements with traditional Mongolian type of music, and I think they're very popular in Beijing right now, China. So here we go. Let's give you a little clip. Anyways, it's crazy how much I love this stuff. It's I saw them playing a concert on YouTube in Ireland, and all these drinking songs, Mongolians and Irish drinking music, drinking together with the Irish and Chinese. What a what a great way for humans to unite, huh? Anyways, moving on. So we're gonna deal with ancient China. um, Now, here I have a modern map of China. It's probably not coming in very well. It emerged along a waterway, the Yellow River. Oh, here we go with the water thing again, right? Okay. The north of China is arid and barren. It's dominated by the Gobi Desert and the Mongolian Plateau. And then eastern China has two great rivers, the Yangtze and the Jianyang rivers. So water and civilization, again, always occur. We essentially see by around 7000 BCE farmers residing in villages and raising food near the Yellow River. Okay, and there's lots of legends that they have. But I also want to focus on the fact that bronze metallurgy probably came to China through Indo-European migrations, also bringing horse-drawn chariots and bronze weapons. So no matter how isolated certain societies look or seem, as we've been learning, each culture is influencing the other in some way. All right. I will not go over. There are so many dynasties in China, and trying to master a Chinese dynasty legacy is very complicated. But there are certain things that are important about various ones. I'm actually going to skip this. Talk about the Shang. The Shang dynasty between 1750 to 1122. It produced more written records, which enabled historians to know more about them than previous rulers or dynasties. So that's important. And their rule unites, connects the yellow region. Okay, so they're an important one. Shang religion and culture. So there's generally speaking not a personal god in Chinese religions. But Shangdi is kind of one closer to it. He was the greatest ancestor and deity of the Shang, and he was to control victory in battle, harvest, and the fate of the capital and weather. Later, he'd be replaced by a less personalized concept of God named Tian, the Temple of Heaven, which I will talk a little bit more about later, because that's a more complicated concept that doesn't really fit into the concept of God that you get out of ancient Israel and even out of India as well. So human and animal sacrifices appear to be a part of the ruler's rituals. Unfortunately, we see throughout all human civilizations that human sacrifices and animal sacrifices seem to have been commonly incorporated by elites and possibly even by commoners, but usually what you're going to see is slaves or somebody from a lower end of things getting sacrificed along with animals. Okay. From ritual to writing. So ancient Chinese writing evolved from religious practices. So for centuries, Chinese oracles or spiritual leaders sought communication with gods or spirits, and they inscribed little pictures on tortoise shells or cattle shoulder bones, and they would heat them up until the cracks would appear, connecting pictures to words, which could theoretically foretell the weather. And so we see these, and that is the context in which their writing is going to occur. And Chinese writing, by the way, is one of the most complicated scripts to learn in the world. There's no alphabet. It's all phonetic. And it takes a tremendous amount of skill in learning to get down the Chinese alphabet. Language is natural. Alphabets are not necessarily. That goes for any. Okay? Something interesting to think about. All right, so moving in through the dynasty world of China. The Shang kings lose legitimacy. There's ignited rebellions, and the Chao or the Zhao dynasty defeats the Shang and starts a new dynasty that lasts for more than 800 years, all the way up to 256 BCE. That's a lot of stability. So just like Rome has this long-standing stability, some of these Chinese dynasties really last for a long time. And the Duke of Zhao set up the philosophical foundations for Chinese dynastic authority. I guess in around 800 years, you're going to develop some sort of concept, something, right? He allegedly developed the idea of the mandate of heaven, which is a very interesting concept within Chinese thought. Okay, now here we return to the concept of heaven, the mandate of Tian. Tian just means heaven or sky. Chinese rulers were referred to as Tianxi, or the son of heaven. But my friend who's fluent in Chinese says, if you say, oh, is it a clear sky? You say, is it a clear Tian? Tian is sky. So heaven and sky, it's the same. It's not a personal creator. What then is Tian? Saying that God is Tian, this is not a personal deity. Remember I talked about how Buddhism is very ambiguous on any kind of concept of God, and that even being an atheist and a Buddhist is not necessarily incompatible. Tian is kind of the same. It's almost like a force of nature, like the Force of the Jedis. this impersonal thing, but yet that can be invoked and operate through the universe. So I want to explain more about that as I go on to the next lecture.